think we are live. It's connecting.
Are you successful now?
Looks like yes, we are there.
Okay.
Hi guys. Welcome. Sorry we are running late. We are really sorry. We had a technical issue. As you can see, my guest, Eustus, is in the dark. Apparently there's a power outage. Hi Eustus, say hi to the followers.
Hello there.
Yes, so let's share in the groups. Let's share. And while we wait for more people to join in, guys, sorry, we had a technical glitch. Our special guest, Mr. Mulenga, was struggling. You see, he has just had to improvise. You can see he's in his car. So welcome, guys. Let's just share in our group so more people can join us. And we have our special guest today. Mr. Mulenga, can you have a few comments to tell our viewers while I share?
I should tell them about what?
Just introduce yourself. Talk about yourself while we wait for the viewers to join in. Talk about yourself. I'm just sharing now.
Okay. Great. Like you've heard, good evening, viewers in Zambia. And hello, guys out there. We don't know about showtime. I don't know how I can actually put it, but I'll first introduce myself. My name's Eustus Chanda Mulenga. I was born in Luansha, and we relocated to Ndola. That's where I started my first grade. Up to my 12th grade at Kansenshi Secondary School. And then in 2000, I relocated to Lusaka. And to date, I'm still in Lusaka. So basically, I think I don't need to go into details. I think that's the basic introduction I can make.
Okay, thank you. You are a Ndola person. I'm also a Ndola person. So we have something in common. Yes. I was a teacher at Chiku Secondary School from 1989 to 1999. So Ndola is my town. Yes. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You might have been my student, maybe.
No.
Okay, so guys, welcome. Share in your groups. We have our special guest today. I'm just sharing, and we'll get started in a little bit. So Eustus, tell us a little bit about your political career.
Well, I got interested in politics when I was very young. That was way back in the 90s. As young as I was, I could identify issues that most politicians used to face in Zambia in the Kaunda days. I know people might be asking questions about the Kaunda thing and looking at me as Umusepela. In the 90s, I was part of that group that really formulated MMD, but I wasn't like one person was into it like formally. I was young then, I was doing my 8th grade, but I had interest in politics. So I had this chance to be part and parcel of the rally they had at Village Green. Tuadiama bought a pickers, nama litter pickers, because we were told that no, cleanliness is next to godliness by the Chiluvas and the Mokolas. So basically it's in the 90s. That's when I started politics. And then when I came to Lusaka, I concentrated so much on work. I did a bit of some work because I told myself to say, you need to work first, work like a donkey, find a position where you would say you should find something that will be able to like generate the funds for you. And then when you are aging, you should be able to like say, okay, somebody is bringing the money for me. You won't be working anymore. So basically from there, I said, okay, I've worked enough in my late 30s. And then I joined politics in the early 40s in Lusaka formally. I've not been in any political party apart from UPND. You'd imagine.
Wow, that's very impressive. I'm impressed.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
from then, I got interested in UPND because we had a leader who was not like affiliated on any political party apart from UPND. So from then, I said I think he's going to give us something different, because I'm one person who used to talk about recycled politicians. I wasn't interested in that. So basically that really prompted me to join UPND.
Okay. So I think, I'm very impressed with your political, history, your loyalty to the party, and it's very impressive. So, coming to today's political situation, what is your comment on the post-election Zambia in the new dawn? What can you comment about just coming out of the elections? What is your comment on the atmosphere in the country currently?
If we to look at the situation apparently in line with the question that you really posed, I strongly feel I will explain it in a way that people will be able to like understand. And I'll be making comparisons as well, owing to the fact that we're talking two governments here. We've only got at the UPND as a new dawn, which has only been in governance for about a month and some weeks. We're into the second month, which hasn't elapsed. So basically, I'll be making comparisons. If you look at the way politics were exercised in the PF government and the way politics are being carried in the UPND, I mean, you'll be able to identify the difference just within the shortest period of time that the UPND has governed this country. So in the situation where you like say, okay, what's the difference in between PF and UPND in terms of governance? I'll be saying, looking at security and looking at lawlessness and law. I'll be saying in terms of lawlessness, we saw lawlessness at peak in PF, and apparently, I'm one person who was busy preaching to the people out there to say it is the president who should be able to put his foot down and tell the cadres not to be doing what they are doing. And this is exactly what the new dawn president has actually done. So looking at those points, people should be able to say, okay, the difference is very, very, I would say very outstanding in for lack of a better term. It's very outstanding in the sense that now people can actually go to bus stations freely. It doesn't matter what regalia you actually have it on you. It doesn't matter the kind of language or even the political party that you're supporting. There is freedom of expression. There's freedom of speech. There's freedom of movement. I mean, the rest is history, basically. Just in a month and some weeks, we've seen a huge difference.
Thank you. So yeah, we are in the new dawn, guys. It's a new day in Zambia. We have seen some of the liberties, the human rights that were taken away, taken from us. But in the last almost 2 months now, it's just peaceful to be in Zambia. It's nice to walk in the streets. It's nice to wear any color you want. And we thank God for this, the peaceful transition. It wasn't really peaceful. Some things happened, but we are over that. So what is your comment on the youth empowerment, looking at the campaign promises of UPND? What can you say? Like, we are only 40, 50 days into government as a new party, and we have all these campaign promises. So what is your comment on campaign promises, specifically, I want you to talk about youth empowerment and also arresting the thieves or these people who plundered the economy, arresting these people who maimed people or killed people. I know there were promises made. What is the comment on that?
That's a very good question. I'll go straight into talking about youth empowerment first, because I did my research work correctly. And the more reason I'm saying I did it so correctly, because I even went to youth and sport ministry to get some copious information from there. And then I found it so easy for me to even talk about it because I got the information from a source. So making comparison with the promises that were made by our president on the youth empowerment and how they're going to be ushered into entrepreneurial sectorial setups and how they're going to help the youth in the entrepreneurship skills, we can probably say that this is something that is not easy to actually work on. My reason for saying that is very simple. You see, empowering a youth doesn't just mean giving money to a youth. This is one thing people should have in mind. Empowering a youth is something that takes a lot of investment, takes a lot of time to actually inculcate entrepreneurship skills in a certain character before you start funding that particular person. We're trying to avoid a situation where people were busy turning money into golf balls by using golf sticks to actually smash the money that were given to wrong characters in the PF. We don't want that situation to repeat itself. The base we're trying is, as somebody who's been an activist and of course an advocate, trying to help our government to actually set solutions and ways in which the government should be able to like empower the youths more positively. I strongly feel the first thing they need to work on is the mindset of the youth. Before you give them money, teach them how the money can be used. Teach them that, find out from them the skills they've got, and then you categorize them according to the skills they've got. So back to the question itself on the issue of empowerment, it's something that is vast. If we to have a discussion on the same, it's going to take ages, but of course I'll be able to tackle this topic in bits and pieces, and then I'll be segmenting as well. So I'm only hoping people will be able to understand why I'm coming out like that, because when you look at empowerment from a professional point of view, you'll be able to know that in most of our developed countries, they don't really just empower characters, ordinary characters like you get guys know these are cadres and then this is how we can empower them. I surely feel that's the wrong way of doing things. This is the more reason we had a problem with PF. Even now, that money which is called empowerment fund, I don't think they'll be able to pay back because that's a revolving fund. So we don't want to have the same experience. Is there any question?
Yes, thank you. I think from what you have said, I've noted that you mentioned about identifying skills of the youth and then empowering them or setting them up for success. In other words, like, we are not just going to give people, as we saw in PF, people were given money based on whom they know. Some, they even didn't have a business proposal or maybe a project in writing to show how they were going to use this money. But instead they received this money, and today we have not seen any profits or any advancement to say from their money they got, this is what they did. So thank you for your answer. It's really important. I think, you know, as advocates, as politicians, as human rights activists, we have to be, you know, involved to make sure that our campaign promises that the party made are fulfilled, and also are fulfilled, and then there's accountability. So I think you also mentioned to say people have to account for the funds which they were given. So the current situation, the current mood in the country politically, there is a lot of people. We are hearing people complaining about, you know, the slow process of changing, removing PF cadres in office. What is your comment on this?
That question of slowing up the process of removing cadres and dealing with the civil service, getting rid of the road from the civil service, I strongly feel it's not an easy process. And looking at how things are being done, there are disadvantages and disadvantages. I would start with the disadvantages. When you look at the process being slowed down, it's going to be costly on the part of our governance today. Because, I mean, we shouldn't forget about the Shuraden issues in the offices. Of course, I mean, if somebody has been committing atrocities and then you take time in trying to pounce on those characters, they'll find ways and means to get rid of the evidence that can cost them. And then on the other hand, maybe there's an issue of trying to get the best people to replace the criminals. And so when you look at those things, I mean, for me, there's much more of disadvantages and less advantages, because I mean, the time we were campaigning, what we had was the assurance to say that, I remember very well, I told Gilbert Liswaniso to say that that was in July. I texted him and I told him that, no, I think there's no goalkeeper in the goalpost. There's no goalkeeper in the post. I mean, it's a clean game. I don't know if my president had the same idea like I had. And if at all that was the case, and he would have by now done what we strongly feel should have been done. Now, looking at this same situation on the other side, maybe he would have been given a list of characters who he has actually found so difficult to actually take as replacement. So now he's busy struggling to get the right characters because he's been given maybe a wrong list to say, maybe these guys cannot be used. It's the same thing as maintain the same folks on those positions. So those are the disadvantages and the advantages. But at the end of it all, I mean, looking at the promises that the president made in terms of governance, I strongly feel we're not moving in the right direction. We're also moving in the right direction. It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. I'll be very frank on that one. I'll be very frank. I'm one person who calls a spade by its name. I'm going to categorize this thing, Bakwin. My saying that we're not moving in the right direction, according to the promises that were made by the president said we're going to get rid of the criminals. Even the time when we were campaigning, the story that was there was to say PF are all criminals, okay? These are the stories we used to get from the campaigns, because I used to campaign like A to Z. And then when these guys say these are criminals, now that we in governance, we fell into get rid of these criminals from their offices. So what is the story? Are we moving the right direction if we talk like that? No, we are not. And then on the other side, where somebody would say we're moving in the right direction when you say don't beat them now, regard them as your brothers and sisters. The cadres, the ruthless and criminal PF characters, don't beat them up. The law must take its course. That's the right direction is actually taken. And so that in itself for me, I mean, it's a two-way thing. The slowness in the way they're making appointments, the slowness in the way they're trying to get rid of these criminals and pouncing on criminals. We've heard of stories to say, no, investigate them, and then the law is going to take its course. Let the dogs sleep, don't provoke them. There are issues of PF, behave yourselves and stuff. We never expected such from the president. We expected the president to actually react because these characters are on record to say, this one bought fire tender at an exorbitant price. This one bought ambulances at an exorbitant price. Bowman used to preach that, no, we're still in for the future. These are straightforward cases. We don't need to actually investigate those cases. So basically, that's where we're going wrong. I guess I've answered your question.
Yes, yes. I agree with you too. I agree with you because the campaign promise was like, these are thieves. And immediately we go to plot one, we are going to arrest them. So myself, I'm disappointed to see the slow action, especially on a higher level. On a higher level, when we are talking about things like the theft of the fire tenders and all those things, the money, you know, even recently Faith Musonda, just to give a recent example. That one we can say that why are we even wasting time? Having that amount of money is money laundering. It's in black and white. Why is the girl still at home? What is there to investigate when the evidence is there? So these are things which should you know, we shouldn't even have a headache of say we are investigating. Me, what I'm saying is that currently, this is just my opinion. When you are investigating someone, the first thing is to seize their assets. Have we seen seizure of assets? Have we seen bank accounts frozen? No. Have we? And also, if someone has an office, they must be locked out of their office. They must be told to stay home because an investigation is currently happening. So none of these things are happening, which means there are no investigations happening. So my thing is, how can a thief investigate a thief? And why am I saying this? Is because these people in ACC, in DEC, they are partners with the PF government. They are cadres.
That's very true.
Zambia police, the people there, Esther Katongo, she was insulting by HH. But today we see her, you know, removed and given her another post like a promotion. So for me, I sit here and wonder, is like, how can we promote accountability if people who have, you know, committed these crimes are given other jobs? They are just reshuffled, you know. From here to there, it's like, it's like, you know what, for me, I'm just like, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I know there are cases that need investigations, but there are no investigations. That's what I'm saying. Because no bank accounts have been frozen. No one has been chased in their office. You know, no properties have been seized. We saw Kanganja open a guest house the other day. How much does he make? If you're in a government, it's a conflict of interest. You can't be a businessman. It's in black and white. Government worker, civil servant is supposed to be a set of service. We are not in government to make profit. But then this is where I think, Eustus, I talked with you to say we need to really clamp down on educating people on their human rights. Because when people know their human rights, when people are in the right mindset, then they can advocate for these changes. Right now, the mood of social media, we see people, you know, even complimenting Bakanganja, congratulations, Mwali Womba, he used his brainy, you know. It's like, really, this is as inspector of police, is Kachingani IG. What time did he have business to make money and build the lodges and all these things people have? So for me, it's like we as Zambians, let us change our mindset. Let us know, what these people should be doing for us. Because when it comes to holding them accountable, we can hold them accountable because we know what they're supposed to be doing and not doing. Right now, it's just like, everybody's like everything goes. We have debates in this forum, chat group, see, to learn that, people like today, they arrested Bowman Usambo for the guy that they beat up. There are people in their graves who are dead. And people are like, no, we have to be patient. Okay, people have been dead 10 years. People were killed 10 years ago. People were killed 2 months, even a day of election. People were being killed. So where is the justice for those people? This is what we are saying. We need action. Like for me, we can separate, we can put the changes in levels. So like, for example, like police should be number one priority to change, clean up police so that the police can start investigating and charging people like Bowman Usambo and charging people, arresting people like Faith Musonda who have billions of kwacha in their bedroom. It's quiet now. We have even stopped talking about it. People, I saw another video today. There was instant justice. The youths attacked somebody who had killed a UPND and the police have not acted. So they actually were in there. So what I'm saying is, if this law enforcement is not cleaned out and we put professionals in the Zambia police, you are going to see youths taking matters in their own hands because there are cases that have been reported to police and no action has been taken. So this is what I'm saying. On the campaign promises, I agree with you. We need to move fast. And then lastly, we can talk about, I think we talked about youth empowerment and campaign promise. Then also there's a comment on currently on social media going on about your suspension. Do you have any comments on that?
Power's just come.
Yeah.
Power is back.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, that's why now back, people are coming online.
I want to contribute on the issue of Faith Musonda.
Okay.
If you can allow me to.
No problem. I think people will join us now because Power is back. More people will come on live.
Yes. So on the issue of Faith Musonda, I strongly feel the government is not doing the right thing. Kabwala lo ibira mataba yatatu feri mbinangu ya biribala mukaka ukwabona no kumwipusha naba musanga fena mataba. And then umuntu kwetenda lama na kwata 65 million cash. There's an issue of money laundering. You spoke about it. And then there's also $57,000. That person is in possession of that value. It's very easy to pounce on such characters. The first thing you're supposed to do is, ask simple questions. Wafero mwakanshi. Okay, amieva. Miaka nshi wabomba, oko wale bomba kuma companies, wabombe miaka inga. Okay. Wale fola shinga mu company wabombele inshita. Alondolola. So, nga miebe fumwala mwipusha kwali bana makwebo ya mbioyo chita. Alanda tawe kwena na lechita ko business ya msango ni profit nshupanga makwebo ayo elo nomba mwambo ku ukuchita ama calculations based on those questions. You'll be able to know exactly if that money belongs to that person, and there's no bank that really pays such an amount. That can only come from a central bank to a commercial bank and not an individual. So when you look at those things, there's a lot of criminality involved in those things. So basically, for me, I've always told these characters to say that, when games are being played, people don't realize that they're playing games, and not every person watching those games is a fool. So not everyone in Zambia is a fool. There's certain characters who are fools. Of course, they will agree with that. And then they'll say, okay, Chilifia we know 15 and stuff. Just the other day, I was even telling the president to say, but president, you are wasting time and you are the same person who's causing the PF guys to start misbehaving because you're not pouncing on the people, as criminals. You've even made them go to parliament, walk tall on the floors of a parliament, saying we are honorables and busy asking stupid questions in parliament. It's all because of the same president. Our president is not taking action so swiftly that we can curb the problem, apparently. Ni muno mwine fe muzambia moto amone impupu tabashikata. Impupu barashikulira nenganda thank you pakutwibira. Na ba faith musonda balebe swira ne chibiri ya Bible pia. So, nombanga mwakonka, ukukonka nefunde. Bushe, is it right to have such kind of situations in a new dawn? Chakana, Bakwin. Chakana, Fesana.
Sana.
Nachikana.
Even for me, like Eustus, that's why I'm even avoiding to come online. Because if it's Chitika, I'm not happy. I've been avoiding to come online because I don't want to say the wrong things. A lot of things are going wrong. A lot of things are going wrong. How can someone be detained and released after refusing to answer? That is straightforward money laundering. Muli bakaunda fetu akwire muli bakaunda nga baikata fyo muntu bale mwipisha leta payslip yowe aba pera payslip. How much do you make? 2,000 kwacha. So it 65 million waifunishe kuisa. That is a scandal that is a scandal. That is like the first scandal, is the first test of the new Dawn government. And they have failed, We are going to call a spade a spade. The handling of this Faith Musonda, whatever case is like the UPND have failed because it's a big test. It just happened immediately they came in office. And they have failed to act. Faith is sitting right there. We have seen all the assets Faith has. It's like, really, me, I'm a retiree panopondi, I'm a pensioner. But if you 1 million kwacha only, Faith can pay me to death. But if you But Faith is sleeping in our home while we have pensioners sleeping outside Ministry of Finance to collect the peanuts we worked for. So it's really sad. And this is not what I campaigned for, really. I expected to see swift action, and then just everything is like slowed down from the high pace of campaigning. Yourself into finish slow number. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. Youths are not happy. Comments, guys. I'll try to read your comments. If you have any questions, let's read the comments below. And the other topic I wanted to discuss is I saw a video, a young boy, he was like 7-8 years old. And I'm talking about this as a human rights activist. And one of my passion or my goals at Nangoma Foundation is to promote education for all. Education for all and end child homelessness, and those children who are born in environments which are unsafe. Like the video which is going around, there's a small boy from Chibolia that the father is a thief. Like, really, we need to revamp our social services in Zambia to come in and take these kids to safety. Because explaining how we should watch tafioze. And we have a lot of kids sleeping in the streets. And then we have people like Faith Musonda who have millions from nowhere. And we sweep all this under the carpet. I think, you know what, we can do better. Like, let's fight if we don't collect all this money, God will punish us. He will even punish our leaders for allowing some of these crimes against humanity. Like I always say, Zambia is a rich country. No kid should be on the street. We should have social services, programs to take out all these kids from the street and house them and feed them and put shoes on their feet. Put them in those 48 houses, they can convert them into a shelter for all the street kids. Like, we need proactive. We need to be proactive. We have waited a long time, you know? So this is what we are saying, guys. It's like, in the new dawn, things have kicked up really slow. Because you know, we're up here in the campaign mode. And twice up when I feel like to negative zero. Your comment. What is your comment?
You know, your contribution is very positive, and I strongly feel abale umfwa bale tesha bwino sana. Echo ninga beba kochimo. Inena alela ndapama solutions, like in the case of iyo in a point mwashta raise yakoba tumwana alelo ndolola ifyo ba wishibeba. Ichipingo chisosati, train a child in the way she grows so that when he grows up, he won't depart from that. Nombo bwafetwa kwata bwababunga bumo. Ni muno chalo chesu cha Zambia emo tuamona ama morals now yali ya katushinga ni kunama. Ni muno chalo cha Zambia emo tuamona immaturity vale isenda so lightly. Vale bulo muntu pantu fena kwa taxes kundala mandalondololo kutilati uku kwatendala matemano bamo kulaba ni legacy mwaisa msangana kwatendala malimbe ba ushibalifwa asenda nangu bamo kulaba connection bambi abantu tabakwatendala mapantu bali kwatishamano awe icho echishingo cho tufile twasendapo nalami bwese shakopa nono kunu mabakwenu pali issue ama youth to actually pali empowerment. I wasn't more elaborate because I was trying to like work around time as well, not really where I would start talking non-stop. So this is a more reason I was saying I'll be segmenting. Sometimes you would ask me questions and then I'll skip to the other side. I'm only hoping you're going to allow me to do that.
No problem. Take your time.
Okay, yeah. Great. Thanks a lot. Mama na ma solutions. Ilio balanda ti ilio umwa ume alefo kuya mkupa afuira ipeka nyanindala mashaku shakulipila kuchupo. Ule foku pisho winga pakupa kwakwe afuira kwa tendala mashaku shitashani shakwatiro winga no tala alombaisha. Ama leaders ba Africa babanga balumendo bali abale upaino nshita ati yo tulepanga akabungwe kakula tusonkerere ndala mapantu lepisha obwinga ekimono obuteko bwa Africa obwalelo ngatawishi bati wakwanisha ni muno mu Africa omutimona balepanga budget pandala mashakulomba ni mu Africa omutimona balepanga budget ichidire ndala mabapanga nangu ninganda ngamule running enganda based on borrowed money, then there must be something wrong with you. Don't let your expense surpass your income. The moment you let those things work out that way, it becomes an issue. Muno mu Zambia twalikwata problem yako bati mulepanga budget and uku kongola based on your tax collection. Taxation doesn't actually help you to pay back. It's only an infringement on the locals. Because imamu bula nombobo mwibile ndalama nibali abantu obo mwaikala nabo mchalo mu mulipilisha tax and tax abengi abakankala bala idoja na alafu makoko panono. I also dwell on the issue of imiperere y'abana ababo bafunya mu misebo empowerment ikabashani nalisa ikala panshi nokto.
Yes, sorry, you are freezing. Bachta freeze by Eustus. Comrade Eustus has frozen. But guys, we are just here. We are discussing about the new dawn. Welcome back. Welcome. Yes.
Somebody was trying to call me.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Someone was trying to call me
continue.
Baraman, like seriously.
Oh my God! Even me, they are trying to call me, but I have a setup. Paningwata said, so my phone is free.
Yeah, we're doing it unprofessional. We're in Zambia.
No. You know what? It's okay. For me, it's my workstation. So Naripanga at like a studio because it's my home office.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so back on the same statement where I say that muno Zambia, ababa funisha ma marketplaces ba kalume, na bakashana ababe tata ma yotatini. Ilio baba funisha ma stations, bale ba faika na baba kwatila solution. No more nalosha nyumu. It's a very good move when the president pronounced to say we don't want cutters in the bus stations and marketplaces. But it would have been better ngavali kwete solution yaku bapa abantu ateni. No mbaine na understand that okay, abantu bali na ba president vision bakwete, it's a positive vision, but aba bashunguru ikitabale batontonka nishako. Na lisa ikala panshi no that the quickest way possible to actually help these characters who are busy roaming the streets now, who are busy loitering because they don't have anything to do but while batamfia marketplaces and bus stations, which is a very positive move. Tualilo le shapali panganani. Mungu mfikishe bwino sana bakwina. I'm sure you've been to Lusaka and you've seen the situation in Panganani Street.
Where
You've
is
seen
Panganani
Buseko.
Street? Panganani
Mukwai.
Street, Lisa. Panganani, I know Cairo Road na Freedom.
Panganani dia balungisha mama motoka bapomponsha mama motoka. Mwaisheva.
Me, I'm a couple of queen. Now put it up like
Okay,
Copperfield
great.
is my town. Murusaka Pitamoke is like
Mkwai.
yeah.
So Panganani Street, mwali baba auto body mechanic, na automotive mechanic, but they actually do their works pamusebo fe. So if you rainy season ya Liza, bala kwata challenge. But naisa batontonka ni shaino kwebati, ababa lumendo ababa icheba kadaba, kube pusha interest yabo, yaba shani, ukuchirefe babalekera no mpaka tukabapelera imbifya bulimi, or if yaku batu bakambe mama businesses. Baba chite fusing mubuseko, mupanganani, na muliba mandefu, but beleka ukutila panganani. This is very, very, very simple solution and something that doesn't need much money. They'll be working as an apprentice. Ngabafika mulia mpanganani, bala panga organization utubalaita tutuma cooperatives. Bala beba bapanganani, tupeni proposal yenu, tumipangile kashota fast kubomfya wa ZNS, Zambia Army, na babe na makada. Labor force is available. Ngababa bula bala bapanganani bakwen, bala bula bakafunda ba ichebali abakada, mechanical skills, auto body skills, and then bakboma bakale kokupere ndalama abama Indians ngoma Chinese abalesa cause ababomba ma Indians, ma Zambians. The way we're going to do it when looking at this same solution, kufa ya fenchendo kweba bapanganani ati nikwisa munga temokula bombera pakutira na boma ile leta ama motoka mu garage mumienu na baba ichetwala mipera baba kada ukweba tumule bafunde emilimo abantu abakubomba emilimo nga bafula efficiency laba positive. So bali abantu in the process nga basambila tebonsa bakemati obakabombe mupanganani kukabobo bakatwala kubuseko revenue ile ngila ba cancel. Nako bafwaya location iya kobati ni ilio tulebomba pabane etwala sha segment ibuseko. Buseko ukufuma fyopo naishira mu Lusaka, it's not a conducive working environment. The reason is very simple. Tapaba slab concrete, and then money is wasted so much, and then perfection on the pieces again is compromised onto the fact that balabantu bali ba exposed. Mamona. So in analisa tontonga yangaba senda bali abantu babe bato bakada, mwebali interested muli timber trading, mwebali interested in dough making, and the rest of furniture stuff that's needed by the locals. To allow me senda to Mr. Segment, muno mulusaka mweka emo ya yambila, na Copper Belt can have a similar setup because na fiane fondela ndakuno na Copper Belt oko fiaba na Northern Province oko fiaba. So it's the same arrangement. Did you have Africa pabu seko para kulanda to bazedene sisen kuno. Bazambia mi sen kuno. Aba abantu bala bombo mulimo osuma without even engaging a Chinese mwabula na any of those characters are really willing to work with timber processing and timber sawmills and stuff. Mwabeba tobane fo twalambira twala pangama decks ali atatu pano pamatero pano pabuseko twala pangama decks ali atatu. First deck pakula baba sawmill, woodwork, and it's something that is vast. But of course, a sawmill now woodwork, bala pace punch panel. First, to alabika slab concrete, to my phases to abike to a Mrs. Shoku, without even disturbing the program, yaba to mama ketias, basha shampaka ba puisha, by minikan if my vertical pose, if my channels, yaba finished steel structure. Second deck, yopo babika, aba grocery, mechanical shops, sama auto shops, yeah. And then third deck, babika po, naba lodging. Whatever dealing amuli timbaba fumakulu kitwe, ku kasama, kuisa, they will be lodging from the top deck, the third deck. Bariano mbaba, panshaba masomils, kube bata, wala kada mwale bombana wapaku pange chishintu, tuamishila walumendo, there will be job and training, bakula fola. You will have to agree with the government to say this is how you'll be operating. To let's creating shama solutions. Lidia tulelo loktu to bashte empower. To apuisha pala government is going to have revenue from that. Buseko is also going to have revenue from the Panganani guys ngababa chinja mu location baba twala ukuli bwino. Ngafia fuma po kwa saba ma issues yakuya nomba muma places like Garden and all that. Anyway, let me leave it up to there. Maybe there's something that you need to contribute on that one. I'll continue from there.
Thank you. You know, I'm impressed. Like, you are the guy we need to Ministry of Youth. You are the guy, you know, such minds is like, I'm right there with you. You know, and while I was listening to you speak, I thought of this idea, like in Zambia, they have malls all over. And the mall is a consumer-based kind of business. And for me, I've been advocating for a production-based kind of economy in Zambia. And this is what you were saying. So in other words, what you are saying is, let us create what we call industrial park. That's like we can create industrial parks, and we have different sections, automotive, you know, timber, you know, production-based parks. That's what we need. We need to produce. That's the only way our economy is going to come back. And we can produce and provide service to each other as Zambians. Zambia for Zambians. We cannot have Chinese importing spare parts or Lebanese. What about us? Why can't we support, for example, servicing of all government vehicles should be given to small scale, you know, investors like Panganani. If they build an industrial park for them, all the government vehicles can be taken there for service. That's direct empowerment. We are not talking around 300,000 for what? With no business plan. So these are the ideas that we want to see. I'm very impressed with your idea, because even here in the West, that's what we do. People are trained with skills, and then they are just not given money. They are given money actually and given locations. Okay, you want to be simple things, even like kube mshishi or hairdressing. Funda skill, then they give them a location. This is the building. Start your trade here. You are a mechanic. This is your building. Start your trade here. You are a carpenter. Things like making coffins. I even saw something that brought sorrow to me to say, I'm a Chinese vale pangama coffin. I'm like, really? That should even be banned. Like, if businesses like making coffins should not even be done by any expatriate. Is that an investment? So what kind of businesses are we giving to our own people? Furniture, these guys, Abalumendo, they are so, creative. Driving in Lusaka is so furniture. So why can't we have a business park? Pangama furniture, you house them there, create shops for them. Kuno panga, if in the furniture, in the front they have a showroom to showcase what they are making. So I think these are the ideas what we want. We don't want dropping people. They go shopping, they take trips. No, this money has to be put to good use. So I really like your input on that. I wish, do you have it in writing for like a project proposal? Do you have it
like
in writing?
the sermon you've talked about, the issue of dishing out money. Just if you calculate those monies that are given to these characters, these are values that can really do something very big, if at all the way, to actually implement solutions that would generate again funds. The problem is, most of these characters are not told to say the monies we're giving to you is revolving fund. In PF, most of them got money. I don't think they'll be able to pay back. So it's a wastage on its own, because we saw these guys being given 300,000. That's 300,000 is a lot of money if it's given to somebody who's actually already in business. Even when it comes to empowering, you don't empower somebody who doesn't even know about anything about business. You find somebody who's already kick-started. Talk of these characters from Kalingalinga, the fabricators, the garden boys, those are the garden fabricators and builders. You tell the miners to say no more exporting scrap metal to South Africa. We need to buy smelters in Zambia. These are quickest ways of curbing the problem of unemployment. You create employment by a way of doing things that are going to actually come out as a local generating income. When you tell these guys to say, we'll be getting a scrap metal, instead of you selling scrap metal for 1 kwacha per kilo, and then you go to game stores to buy barbells, 20 kilos of a barbell is about 1,475. Now, if you look at 20 kgs, when you're selling it as a Zambian, it's about 20 kwacha. Now, see the difference. If we were to tell the government to say, okay, the government now should put a ban on the exportation of scrap metal, and the government should buy smelters for the locals, these youths who are busy loitering in the streets, and tell them, guys, there's work for you to do. Will you set up industries for them? Scrap metal will be bought in each location where there's availability of scrap metal. They say you'll be molding these barbells and sell them locally. If you've got mass production, you will have to export as well, which is also a revenue for a country. So in a nutshell, I've been trying to put these things together. I've got a load that sometimes, it's going to take ages for me to explain on this program. But if the government was to actually approach me and ask me, I'll be able to tell them exactly how it should be done, and the guys will be off the street so quickly.
That's impressive. That is impressive. So I don't know. I want us to talk some more. Maybe we can meet next week so we can talk extensively. It's like your ideas, man. You have the solution for youth empowerment. So maybe we can just dive directly into youth empowerment in our next meeting. And for myself, I also want to talk about my passion is the children, because if we train these children well, especially the young children, the children in primary school, nursery school, we need to provide free education for them. But I think we are running out of time. So maybe next week we can continue about that. But for me, I am for providing free education because it's a human right. Zambia is a signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. by the United Nations, and we have established a Human Rights Commission, which is dead. I always talk about what are they doing, you know? What is human rights? That board should be abolished. I think we should also change its name because they have been doing nothing. They are also a PF surrogate, you know? Me, my passion being a mother, I have a grandson, he's 7 years old. I am like, you know what? We should not have any child sleeping on the street. And this is my passion. Child labor, that is abuse of a child. And we are okay in Zambia to see young kids to survive. We are okay. We drive past them in our vehicles. Zambia is a rich country, and this should not be happening. We should have policies where all these children are taken out of the streets. People are running orphanages, you know, trying to help these kids. So that is my passion, guys. And we'll talk some more next week. Having just ended the election, I joined, I actually not really joined politics. I'm a human rights activist, and then I was an advocate. I actually became an advocate because I saw the political situation, how things were going wrong in Zambia, and people were not able to talk. So I used my location advantage to help campaign here. So now that the campaign period is over for elections, my focus is going to be on human rights, educating human rights and advocating for human rights and speaking out for justice, you know, just making sure, like by Eustus, you always say you'll be the opposition within the opposition. I think for me, I'm not the opposition, but I will be the advocate to make sure that human rights are respected in Zambia and also to educate people. Because I think one of the big problems we have in Zambia is like we have become comfortable in our poverty, you know? We have become comfortable in wrong things happening and giving it a pass to say it's okay. We have to be patient. What about the people who are in their graves who have died 10 years ago due to political injustice? They have no patience. They were killed. Their lives were ended prematurely. You know, we have orphans, we have widows because of these political deaths, political arrests. Right now, as we are speaking, people who are political prisoners are still in jail. They have not been released. And this is what we are saying to say, we need action so that justice is served. People who were arrested on political grounds should be released immediately. I only saw Chela is the only one who was released. What about all the people who are still in Zambia police cells, remand centers, whatever, waiting for their justice? And this is why we are here, to say it's not only arresting the owner of 48 houses, but it's looking at the little person who stole a loaf of bread and is now in jail, you know, release him, you know. And I think like such things, like if someone steals a loaf of bread, really, you're going to waste a whole resources to take him and prosecute him for a loaf of bread. I think some of those crimes should just be like, you give them community service, you know, simple things like a simple punishment, community service, maybe find a job for them, community service, or to do something instead of arresting them. The reason they stole is they wanted to eat, really, for a loaf of bread. And we are trying to, this is what we wanted the change to say, everyone should have a job. Zambia, if we manage our resources, I talk about the wealth of Zambia, even emerald, they say the money we have in emeralds annually, the money that comes from emeralds only is enough to fund our budget, Zambian budget, but we don't even know who owns those emeralds, you know? So these are the problems we are having as a country, guys, and we'll be here to talk more and fight for our rights. So I think in your closing remarks, Comrade Eustus, you can go ahead and say your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've really learned a lot, even though I was making my contributions, but I've learned a lot from you. And I guess even the viewers and the listeners have learned a lot as well. In my last remarks, I would like to tell my fellow Zambians that a leader will never be a leader minus followers. It's a good thing that we get it from the president to say the presidential office is the people's office. And I'm only believing that it's something that is not just verbalized, that it should be practical. We don't want to see people struggling in making appointments to the presidential office where it does take you maybe a year or two to just make an appointment with the president. And then the other thing is, Zambians should be able to realize that when they know their value, nobody's going to just take advantage of them. It's the mindset that needs to be worked on. People from school to homes and to marketplaces, they should realize that this is my value and I wouldn't let somebody total my value. The moment you actually behave in such a manner, not even a minister, not even the president is going to take advantage of you because you've realized that I'm the one employing and I'm not the employee. So, mwebena Zambia bonse kunche ndoko mulengu mfwila. Ichalo okuwama nga mwaishibo kwebati. Imwe ni mwemwebe ngishe emilimo abwa abantu abamibombela mulimo wenu kubakontolola. Nechikankala sana nicho natukwatako na bamama bakwini abalelanda pokwebati. Naba kwate umpata wakulanda pali free education. Now ine for your own information, you've just made the right person. Ine na liba affiliated kuli Twikatane. Twikatane Germany. Germany na ba mama chikamoneka. Na ba Twitter ba Germany vale fuati tule tukashita sensitize abantu on free education from first grade up to tertiary. So nombabalefa abantu abakweta ama points from 6 points to 30 points in different different segments as in diplomas and degrees, certificates and stuff, but bakala bafunda muma schools are pusana. So to kamba registration nombali nama phones alesa, free education is coming from Germany. Like if we kafumakuli ba mami ba queen. So mwewe na Zambia. Ikataneni nokwevo buteko vofwile bwa bomba. Ama isosele batatana batupela inu babanjike. Ndio batupela ama isosele. Nicho bale fwaya ati tule bebe chishinka. Nga wamona mu office mumota bale bomba bwino. Tule kedia system yako batikabwala la ya koti. Mwamuku mupela solidarity. But nishali mivila. It falls back on the issue of you valuing yourself, because the umuntu fyoli fair, just a certain person wouldn't go to court to come to tell Kabwala Chitaluchum Fio Kuletero Muntu Wabola, Achiba boss Kabwala.
Imagine, no.
So that we should gauge of such a mentality. Ngatuambo kubomba mulidi enshira, ichalo ches chikawama. Enchikawama munshilanshi. Nicho tulefwaya ukwebe ntungulu shofo ifwire ya chita kuningana nefunde. Icha kulekereshako ndefwaya ba president beso. Muliamu State House baka byabana mbwano ukuchinja system ilatoa kwa tapali gratuity. Umuntu kufola kamuna chita deliver mulimo tafyo. Nimuno Muzambia tumwana ma constituency abantu bale bafolesha gratuity but constituency yali FY sangire yabi papo no kuchirefu Aisha. So wanshi mule folesha ndala manga tabombere nango ni munganda mumyanje omuntu ndemu bonfya tale pyanga bwino pali bwino na mutamfye nchito onshi mu folesha pantu tapali ocho ndemu folesha. A person should be paid for a service. So basically bamninane baka mishita update ba queen pali inshita imbyo tukesa apu irikisho mulandu wesuyu. Shibati step na wazesko wabengi washiwa frustrated. So next time I'm sure wazesko tabaka tuleterere. Na
totela comrades, it has been wonderful. You know, we just have to hold each other accountable. 1, we hold each other accountable. 2, there has to be checks and balances. 3, there have to be separation of power. 4, the issue is supposed to be performance-based. These people in our offices, our ministers will try whatever, any contract, and it should be on performance. Gratuity is stealing. You have been paying them a salary. On top of that, you pay them a gratuity. for doing nothing. So we want to see change, and we are here as advocates. And in here, education, Chanda, we have a super idea at Nangoma Foundation where we actually can simplify delivery of education through the internet. Like we can reach many parts of Zambia without even a teacher there, you know? So there are different programs which are available because of the pandemic. A lot of these syllabuses, education subjects, they are all downloaded. So if we can partner, like I know Germany, German, but there are countries which speak English and they have all these lessons already ready to go on the internet. So all we need is provide, for example, we can provide things like a big screen, a projector, or maybe a TV, select one person in a village, and every day, you know, we select students according to geographic location, maybe in a 5-mile radius, they meet at a certain location, and then you beam that lesson every day. So these are some of the ideas we have to say building a school is expensive, but now we are living in a digital age. We can take education directly to a village in Shangombo, in Ikelengi, you know, in Kaputa. So it's exciting, guys. Like, I am really excited. That's why I campaigned heavily for this government, so that because their campaign promises, their manifesto is like, you know, it matches with my passion. So having UPND in government, we'll be able to do so much. And I know, Comrade, you mentioned something about access to the president. I think that will be a key role if we are given access to him and not blocked. Because, you know, Tishani, there is power. There's a saying there. There's no stupid idea. Like the president and his team should accept ideas from everyone. Like let us all put our heads together. All we want is a better Zambia. Some of us we have lived here. Like I've lived 20 years, and you see how they have simplified things. But in Zambia, it's so difficult. You know, but it's so simple. Like, you know, it's just like Ngawangila was like, why can't we do this? You know, things have been simplified and the systems are already in place. So you just need to duplicate and implement. You know, the only stumbling block is the people, the leaders. You know, if the leaders are not willing to be advised or to get out of the box and have the heart of the people. That's what we need. People who want to help people is what we need. Because people want to help people who listen for ideas to change everybody's life. And we saw in PF, all they cared about was building mansions, flying in jets, going to Dubai. They don't care. So having our president in government is a plus, but Eustus Mwachiranda, about these people surrounding him, which is, I think they are building a wall, you know. And I'm sorry to say, these people surrounding HH who are blocking HH are going to damage this party. But I know the president is a social media president, and he listens, he watches to these things. But I know that some of the people around the president, they are not meaning well for Zambians. They are there for their pocket. We have seen it. And very soon, these scandals are going to be exposed of people who are against the president's mission. So, you know, we can just pray for our president at this time. For me, I've been praying for him because some of the stories I've heard about people who are surrounding him are really bothering me. We might go into a PF situation all over again. But
I've seen that coming.
I've actually seen that
coming.
Yeah.
We need to pray so hard.
Yes.
You know, but much as we can pray, it calls for conviction again.
Yeah.
It calls for conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it falls back on the decisions that the president is going to make.
Yeah, but he makes decisions based on his confidence, people who are surrounding him, you know. So it complicates things. So he can't make decisions. Like right now, he's so busy, he's relying on certain people. And those people are the one who can make or break him. So that's why we are just like, you know what, it's tough. So anyway, thank you, comrade. We'll try to make some time next week and talk about youth empowerment and talk about education, free education for all, and how we can simplify this. It's not rocket science. You know, in a pandemic, people have been learning from home because of the pandemic. So we can use the same systems they use in the pandemic in Zambia because of location and distance, lack of infrastructure. We can use the same processes to take education deep down into rural Zambia. It's exciting. I'm really excited to, like, you know what, your team, you know, if you can add me, we can share ideas and see how we can take this education to the rural areas at a minimum cost and achieve education to every child. So it's really exciting because digital, you don't need a uniform, you don't need a desk, you know. So all those things, we can simplify them. Meet here once a week or 2 hours every day, whatever. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. But, you know, we just hope and pray for all the best. Thank you so much. If you
You're
have
welcome.
if you have anything to say, otherwise we'll close.
No, just one quick one.
Okay.
This time around, people shouldn't talk too much about people like Chinda. Let's give solutions to the president on how basic can curb the problem of criminals. He spoke so strongly about them the time he was in opposition. And now this time around, it's just too quiet. So it's us to push the president and say, cage the criminals or you'll be labeled differently. Please,
Exactly.
na Zambia. Today, and it president ati. Ikateni mpupu. Pakwe wati abantu basumine fe mwarelanda pa mpupu. Na baedi galungu babafunye immunity kozi teti mule dilingana na bakapenta nga tamule dilingana esabi. Ambile ni sabi ero mukonka nyepo bakapenta. Na totela sana mkwae.
Mkwae na totela, you know what, we should not change our sports. If you think a zebra, we were zebras in the campaign. You know, but our government, let's maintain our stripes. We don't want to money zebra, you know, by or elephant. No. Meaning we should stand our word, you know. Our word, our word should be our bond, you know. So that's what we are saying. Otherwise, see you soon, guys. Thank you. Follow Queen Pumi. Follow Queen Pumi on Facebook as well as on YouTube. We'll see you soon. Now we are in gear. We'll be here at least once or twice a week. We need to start making some noise.
Okay.